Hello, students. So, today we shall study a new chapter, that is Buildings, Paintings, and Books. The iron pillar at Maharali, Delhi is a remarkable example of the skill of Indian craftspersons. It is made of iron, 7.2 meter high, and weighs over 3 ton. It was made about 1500 years ago. We know the date because there is an inscription on the pillar mentioning a ruler named Chandra who probably belonged to the Gupta dynasty. This pillar has not rusted in all these years. Buildings in brick and stone. The skill of our craftspersons are also apparent in the buildings that have survived, such as stupas. The word stupa means a mound. While there are several kinds of stupas, round and tall, big and small, these have certain common features. These features are: there is a small box placed at the center or heart of stupa. This may contain bodily remains such as teeth, bone, or ashes of Buddha or his followers, or things they used, as well as precious stones and coins. This box, known as relic casket, was covered with earth. Later, a layer of mud brick or baked brick was added on top, and then the dome like structure was sometimes covered with carved stone slabs. Often, a path known as Pradakshina Path was laid around the stupa. This was surrounded with railings. Entrance to the path was through gateways, and devotees walked around the stupa in a clockwise direction as a mark of devotion. Both railings and gateways were often decorated with sculpture. Some of the earliest Hindu temples were also built at this time. Deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Durga were worshipped in these shrines. Like stupas, the temples also have some common features. First, the most important part of temple has the room known as Garbhagriha, where the image of chief deity was placed. It was here that priests performed rituals and devotees offered worship to the deities. Second, a tower known as Shikhar was built on top of Garbhagriha to mark this out as a sacred place. Building shikhars required careful planning. Most temples also had a space known as mandap. It was a hall where people could assemble. How were stupas and temples built? There were several stages in building a stupa or a temple. Usually, the kings or queens decided to build this as it was an expensive affair. First, good quality stone had to be found, quarried, and transported to the place that was often carefully chosen for the new building. Second, these rough blocks of stone had to be shaped and carved into pillars and panels for walls, floors, and ceilings. Third, these had to be placed in precisely the right position. Now we shall study about the paintings. Ajanta is a place where several caves were hollowed out of hills over centuries. Most of these were monasteries for Buddhist monks. Some of these were decorated with paintings. As the caves are dark inside, most of the paintings were done in the light of torch. The colors, which are vivid even after 1500 years, were made of plants and minerals. The artists who created these splendid works of art remain unknown. Now, the next topic we have is the world of books. Some of the best known epics were written during this period. Epics are grand, long compositions about heroic men and women and include stories about gods. A number of Hindu religious stories that were in circulation earlier were written down around the same time. These include the Puranas. Purana literally mean old. The Puranas contain stories about gods and goddesses such as Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, or Parvati. They also contain details on how they were to be worshipped. Besides, there are accounts of the creation of the world and about the kings. The Puranas were written in simple Sanskrit verse and were meant to be heard by everybody, including women and Shudras, who were not allowed to study the Vedas. They were probably recited in temple by priests, and people came to listen to them. Writing books on science. This was also the time when Aryabhat, a mathematician and astronomer, wrote a book in Sanskrit known as Aryabhatiam. He stated that day and night were caused by the rotation of the earth on its axis, even though it seems as if the sun is rising and setting every day. He developed a scientific explanation for eclipse as well. He also found a way of calculating the circumference of a circle, which is nearly as accurate as the formula we use today. Varamihira, Brahmagupta, and Bhaskaracharya were some other mathematicians and astronomers who made several discoveries. So that is all from this chapter. Thank you.